Hello everyone. Let's wait for a while for people to join, and then I'll start by introducing myself. So, sorry. How did everyone enjoy their CNY holidays? I know it's a bit short, but at least it's something. Okay, I hope you guys got many ang paos, and enjoy all your Chinese New Year snacks. So, for those of us that are here, right? Let me introduce myself. I think if those who already know me, you guys would already have known my name. So my name is Teacher Jovan. So a little bit of a self-introduction here. So I teach primary science and secondary science all the way until Sec 4. So if you see me at our centers, at our branches, please just say hi. Okay? So I don't feel that lonely. Like every time all of you guys would just walk past me. So if you're here, right, please drop me a comment saying like, hi, we are watching, yeah, at least let me see some response. Okay. I see Jaren. I see Sean. Okay, hello. So we're gonna wait for maybe 1 more minute before I begin going through our Facebook Live today. So yes. Hi April, I see your comment. Yeah, keep the comments coming, okay? Because if not, I'll be just talking to no one. Okay, please just keep commenting. Okay, let's start with today's Facebook Live. So our topic today will be on process skill. So what exactly is process skill? Sometimes all our questions, right, in the papers, right, there's specific topics that are related, That means let's say question 34 is related to electricity or related to diversity. But what is process skill? Process skill is actually a type of question, right, okay, that requires you to analyze data and see the trends of the graphs, the tables, stuff like that, okay? So process skill is an essential skill because each and every single one of the PSLE question, PSLE year, right? Each year definitely will have process skill questions, and then we are here to prep you guys for this adversity. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with going through question 1. So I see Zerzer, not sure how to pronounce your name, but yeah, hello. Okay, so oh yeah, those who missed my self introduction, again, my name is Teacher Jovan. So yes, please drop me a hello in the comments. Yeah, okay. As we go through question 1. So as you can see from question 1, immediately the question throws you a table. Okay, throws you a graph like data. Okay, so the moment you see graph like data or tables, right, you link it to, oh, I have to use process skill to answer these kind of questions. Okay, and then we are teaching you to analyze the graphs properly so that you do not lose unnecessary marks as well. Okay, so let's read a question together. Okay, the graph shows the temperature of a farm across several hours. So let's read the graph. So starting temperature, we're not sure what is the temperature. I would assume it's around 2 degrees Celsius, and then that's at 2 a.m. And then once it reaches 6 a.m., right, it drops below 0 degrees. Okay, and then the moment it reaches 6 a.m., after 6 a.m., it starts to increase all the way until it reaches close to 8 degrees Celsius. Okay. So when reading a graph, we have to first take note of the axis. So what is the axis? Basically, this whole entire horizontal and the vertical line. What does the vertical side represent and what does the horizontal side represent? For which, in this case, right, the horizontal side represents time. And then your temperature will represent, the horizontal will represent time, and then your vertical will represent the temperature. Okay? So if by any chance the question asks you to plot the graph, that means they ask you to draw the line. Do not mess up the axis when you write time here and temperature here. No, okay? Yeah? So to analyze the graph again, right? We take a look, we see the general trend. Okay, trend means that what is basically the average of what's happening. Okay, so let's take a look at from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Okay, can you see that the temperature is decreasing, generally decreasing? And then after 6 a.m., temperature starts to increase. So there's a general increase here. So what happens when there's a general increase? Basically, the temperature increases as time passes by. Okay, and based on our logic that we know, after 6 a.m., sun rises. Okay, and then when there's sun, obviously temperature will be higher as well. That's why leading to an increase in temperature. Okay, so hi, Teacher Jolene. I just saw your your comment. Yes. Okay. So let's take a look at this. The next part. So they say that Jane observed that some white solids could be seen on the surface of the leaves at about 6 a.m. Okay. So there are white solids here. So let's take a look at the question. Okay. So question is asking, explain how the white solids are formed. Okay. Basically, they're asking you about why, basically, like, how are these white solids formed on the leaves? Okay, why does it happen? How does it happen? Okay, to answer this question, we have to go back to our knowledge of our water cycle. For those in P5, this question is based on water cycle mixed with process skill. Okay, so why does the why are white solids formed on the surface of the leaves? Why? Can we see that from 2 a.m. all the way until 6 a.m., right? Okay, what happens to the temperature? Temperature QC, it drops below zero. Okay, zero is here, and we know that zero is the melting and freezing point of water. Yes or no? Pure water, zero is the melting and freezing point. So if you go beyond zero, that means negative, the temperature negative, right? Okay, negative temperatures, your water will most likely freeze into ice. Yes or no? And how exactly are the white solids formed? What are the white solids? You have to ask yourself. It's actually your tiny little ice chunks that are frozen on the leaf surfaces. Okay, so yes, wait, let me see whether are there any questions. No questions so far. Just at any point after you guys have any questions, please feel free to just leave it in the comments. Okay, I'll try my best to answer the your questions. Okay, so what is the topic here? In this case, what is the topic here? Hello? Can anyone tell me what is the topic here? Topic relevant to this question. I've actually mentioned the answer. Okay? So I'm just going to put the text here. And I'm going to wait for someone to reply me in the comments. Anyone have any idea what is the topic here that we are tested on over here? Explain how the white solids are formed. Any answers? Yes, Johnny, thank you, Johnny. Johnny said it was water cycle, okay? Answer is water cycle, okay? So for those of you guys who are P4 and below, right, you wouldn't have learned this yet, but then, yeah, let's learn and grow together, okay? So it's actually talking about water cycle, and one more thing, your process skill, okay? Actually, process skill will be on, actually, our topic here will be your process skill. And water cycle, okay? And your tested focus, you're actually tested on freezing, yes or no? Correct? So the tested focus here is your freezing. Sean, just water itself is not enough, okay? So the tested focus here will be freezing, and then a little bit of condensation as well. Condensation. Okay? Your clue provided by the question. What is the clue? Let's take a look at the question again. Can you see that after at 6 a.m., right, temperature drops beyond negative. Okay, that means beyond zero. Okay, so let's code the data into our clue here. Okay, so what happens at 6 a.m.? Temperature drops below zero. Okay, so temperature drop below 0 degrees Celsius. Okay? And what is below 0 degrees Celsius? What is 0 degrees Celsius? 0 degree is the freezing point of water. Yes or no? Right? Okay? And then, how exactly are the white solids formed? What are the white solids? You know that white solids is your ice, right? And then, how are they formed? Anyone want to try answering how are they formed? Okay, there's a whole entire process to answer this question. So the first thing you need to equip yourself with is with the skills of reading and interpreting the graph. Imagine you yourself don't even know how to read the graph. How are you exactly going to expect yourself to do the questions? You can't, because first of all, to answer this question, you have to interpret the graph correctly. Okay, so concept application in this case would be, what happens? How are the water droplets formed? You know, water droplets need to form on your leaf surfaces in order for them to form into ice. Right? Water must be present. Well, how is the water there? How did the water end up there? How? You have to talk about condensation also. So you tell me that the warmer water vapor in the surrounding, okay, air comes into contact with the cooler surfaces of the leaves. Okay. What happens after that? What happens when the warmer water vapor in the surrounding air comes into contact with the cooler surfaces of the leaf? It will lose heat and condense. Okay. So take note, these two words go hand in hand together. Okay. So it loses heat and condense to form your water droplets. Okay. So loses heat, condense, forming water droplets. Okay. So what happens after water droplets are formed on the surfaces of the leaves? What happens? Oops. Anyone has any idea what will happen? What will happen? That means that the water droplets has underwent freezing, right? Correct? When below 0 degrees Celsius, the water droplets on the leaf has undergone freezing. Okay, so basically the water droplets was frozen to form your white solids. Okay, the water droplets froze. Oops. Due to the temperature being less than 0 degrees Celsius. Okay? Froze into ice. Sorry, you have to include froze into ice. So basically this is how your white solids are formed. Okay? So the results, you can just tell me that white solids are formed. Okay, so this is your full answer. I'm going to leave the writing of the full answer to you guys. Okay, so this whole entire question requires you to interpret the data and then take the knowledge that you know from your previous chapter that you have learned, okay, and then integrate it together to answer this question. So this question's requirement is rather high. Okay, so this is probably a 2 to 3 marks question. So please, this type of question, if you guys kind of like, if you guys capture the essence of process skill, you will be able to score this. And this is 3 marks for you. Because as you can see, it is kind of simple to interpret the data, and then from your mind, right, you connect your concepts that you have learned, okay, into this whole entire data interpretation, and then you come out with the answer. Okay, so please continue to practice process skill type of question. You can. This is what differentiates the AL1 students as well. Okay, can. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here on screen for a little bit more, and then I'll move on already. Okay, anyone got any questions so far? Just leave it in the comments below. Okay, if no questions, right, I'll move on to the next question. Okay, when Jane returned to observe the leaves at 10 a.m., the white solids could no longer be seen. Explain why. What happens when at 10 a.m., right, the white solids disappeared? How? Let's take a look at the graph again, okay? At 10 a.m., can you see at 10 a.m.? Let's draw a line at 10 a.m. Let me see how do I draw a line. Oops. At 10 a.m., okay, your temperature is at 6 degrees Celsius. If you can see, 6 degrees Celsius, okay? Apologies for the very bad drawing. Okay, hold on. Yes. Okay. So at 10 a.m., that's at 12 p.m. What am I doing? Sorry. Yeah, 10 a.m. is here. It's at 4 degrees Celsius. Okay? Around 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, temperature is at 4 degrees Celsius. So with temperature at 4 degrees Celsius, right? Oops. What happens when you leave the ice out above 0 degrees Celsius? We have established that 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing and melting point of water, yes or no? So if your temperature go beyond, that means below 0, above 0, melting and freezing will occur. Definitely freezing is below 0 and melting is above 0. So what happens when at 10 a.m., when the sun, right, temperature starts to increase, and then your ice would have melted. Okay, that's why there's no white solids. The white solids could no longer be seen. Why? Because the white solid, which is the ice, have melted to form your water droplets, which would have already dripped down on the floor or whatnot. Okay, so you can just tell me that the white solids would already have melted due to the temperature being above 0 degrees Celsius. Okay? Yes, Johnny, thank you for your answer. Yes, due to the temperature being higher than the melting point of water. Okay? Which is due to the temperature being above 0 degrees Celsius. Okay? If you want to go ahead to explain to me, or you can write which is the melting point, beyond the melting point of water, also can. Okay? April, it's not about losing heat and condense. I think your comment is a bit late, is it? Are you answering the previous question? Okay, this is about melting. It's not about losing heat and condense into water droplets. Okay? So this is about gaining heat, okay? So if this question were to be a 2 marks question, you can go ahead to tell me that the white solids will have gained heat from the surrounding air and melted. Okay? So I will add in the white solids gain heat from surrounding air and would already have melted due to the temperature being above 0 degrees Celsius beyond the melting point of water. Okay? Can? Is that okay? Any questions so far? So, can you see that interpreting data, right, is very, very important, because if you don't know how to read a graph, you don't know what is going on in the graph, right? That means what my x-axis value corresponds to which y-axis value. Like the mistake I made earlier on. I went to draw at 12 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. Okay, if you make that kind of mistake, right, how exactly are you expecting yourself to score well? Okay, you can't score well because you're not able to do questions that requires process skill. Okay, not really not able to do well, but you won't be able to score or thrive in this type of questions lah. So I think it's rather important to have the skill, to be equipped well with the skill, right? To answer give away marks question. To grab it, you want to grab as many marks as you can to score for your PSLE, yes, no. Correct? So with this, yeah, is everyone done with this whole entire question? If everyone is done, I'll take some time to talk about something else. Okay, we are having this workshop, right? It's called the March Holiday PSLE Process Skill Workshop. Okay, so this promo code is specially for you. So if you key in March MAR 2026 WS capitalized, you'll get a $20 off, specifically just for you. Okay, and then in this process skill workshop, right, you would go through 10 times more or even 100 times more in depth into process skill questions, process skill type of questions. And this is a necessary exam skill set, which will definitely help you with achieving your whole entire AL1 result. Okay, and then you get to do so much hands-on experiments, you know, and you are able to see those experimental of questions, right, coming to you in real life, and you record the data, and then you interpret your own data that you have collected yourself. So I think it's a very, very important and very, very good chance, right, for you to gain all this exposure and experience. Okay, and then this will definitely help you answer those questions when you see on paper, because there's a difference between seeing the questions on paper and then doing it in real life and then seeing it on paper. At least you have that experience, you know, and then interpreting data as well. Okay, so the link of signing up is in, you can see the link here, or not, you can go to our Telegram channel and click the link there to register. Okay, so it's happening on the 16th and 17th of March, which is your March holidays lah. So if I'm not around, I'll see you guys there as well. Okay, so let's head back to question 2. Okay, so as you can see, question 2 over here, straight away they throw you a table right in front of your face. Okay, so the table over here shows you the temperature. You can see the temperature, the duration of days, and then the different stages. Okay, so they tell you the adult mosquito spreads dengue fever to human. So the table below shows, it's supposed to be a show, okay, it's not shoe. It shows how temperature affects the duration of different stages in the life cycle of a mosquito. So 2A is completely unrelated. Okay, it tests you on your mosquito life cycle. Okay, so they ask you, where does adult mosquito lay their eggs? Anyone want to attempt to answer these questions? Where does the adult mosquito lay its egg? Yeah, I'm waiting for your responses in the comments. Okay, good. Thank you, Johnny. So, Johnny said it's at stagnant water, but then what is the exact phrase that I'm looking for? So, adult mosquitoes lay their eggs on the surface of stagnant water. Oops. Okay, this is a very this is a giveaway question. So please be able to do this. Okay, and then part B is where you need your process skill to help you answer question. So they ask you which stage of a mosquito life cycle, right, is affected by the change in temperature. So this is where you need to interpret the data given to you. Okay, let's take a look at the table. Over here at the left-hand side column, it says the temperature, and you know that the temperature increases, okay, from 24 all the way to 30. And then we take a look at the next column, which is the egg stage, the larva stage, pupa stage, and total number of days. As you can see, let's interpret the total number of days. As temperature increases, right, you straight away know that you look at the total number of days decreases, yes, no. And then they ask you which stage of the mosquito life cycle is affected by the change in temperature. That means which life cycle, right, would the change in temperature have an effect on? So let's take a look at egg stage. How many times you change the temperature, right? Egg stage still remains as 2 days, so it does not have any changes. Pupa stage, the same. Yes, it remains at 2 days, so it has no change. The only stage that changes, right, which is your larva stage. Can you see? The stage, the number of days at 24 degrees Celsius is at 10 days, okay? And then 26 is at 8, and then 28 is at 6, and then 30 is at 5 days. Okay, that means at 30 degrees at higher temperatures, right, it requires lesser number of days to grow. Correct or not? Make sense? Yes? Okay, so at which stage of the life cycle, mosquito life cycle is affected by the change in temperature? Okay? This question is very good because they did not ask you to explain why. So they just ask you to state which stage of the mosquito life cycle is affected by the change in temperature. So you just need to tell me the larva stage. Okay? Okay? Can? Okay? So at the larva stage, right, as you can see from the table, it changes, right? Okay? The rest remains the same. Okay, so this is the skill that we want you to have to be able to interpret the data given to you. That means if the Cambridge, okay, they throw you the whole entire table like that, you must be able to interpret it. Okay, PSLE, they throw you tables, they throw you graphs, you must be able to interpret. And this type of process skill questions, you must score full marks. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so they ask you, but see, hold on, are there any questions so far? Any questions? Yes, I've seen all your comments. Okay, Johnny, thank you. Zer, thank you. Ashley, thank you. Okay, yes, it's the larva stage. Okay, so based on the result above, let's move on to part C. Based on the result above, what is the relationship between the temperature and the duration of the mosquito to complete its life cycle? So we are taking a look. We are taking a look at the temperature and the duration, total duration. Yes or no? So let's take a look at these two columns, mainly the temperature and the number of days. Okay, the rest don't really matter. Okay, we just need to take a look at the temperature and the total number of days. Can you see that as temperature increases, because as you go down the list, right, temperature increases from 24 all the way to 30. And then let's take a look at the right column, which is the total number of days. Can you see that total number of days decreases? Okay, from 14 to 12 to 10 to 9. Okay, with respect to the change in temperature. So we know that as temperature increases, total number of days decreases. Okay, so you just need to tell me relationship type of question is as something increases, something decreases, or as something increases, something increases. Okay? Yes, thank you, Johnny. As the temperature increases, the number of days taken for a mosquito to complete its life cycle also. Wait, the number of days. Are you sure, Johnny? The number of days taken for a mosquito to complete its life cycle also increases? Really? Let's take a look. 14, 12, 10, and 9. Okay, no. As the temperature increases, total number of days decreases. So that basically means the duration of the mosquito to complete its life cycle decreases. So answer should be as temperature increases, the total number, the duration of the mosquito to complete its life cycle decreases. Okay, it's okay, Johnny. We all make mistakes. It's okay. So yes, increases, decreases. But April, take note. You have to give me the full answer. Don't tell me. Don't just write 2 words in exam. Increases, decrease. No, you get marked wrong. You have to give me the whole entire phrasing. Okay. As something increases, something decreases, or as something increases, something increases, and vice versa. Okay. So relationship type of question, right, is my favorite question in exam. Why? Because definitely you just need to see the trend and then you'll get the 1 mark. Okay? So this is a giveaway mark. Yep. Is everyone okay? Yeah? Okay, let's move on. State 1 way to prevent mosquito breeding at home. So this one, I'm pretty sure you guys would have done it in real life as well. So a few examples I can think of is capping the place where you put your bamboo, right? Okay, and then you can tell me pour away stagnant waters at the flower pot or in your pail. Okay, to try not to minimize the amount of stagnant waters available around you. Okay, so one example I can give you is you can tell me remove water from flower pot. Okay, you can tell me any other answers also can. I want to hear your answers. If you have any other answers, right, please let me know. Okay, let me see whether is it acceptable or not. Okay, you can tell me change the water in flower vases every other day. Okay. Another example you can tell me is remove water from flower pot plates. Or you can cap your bamboo hole holders. Cap bamboo hole holders. Okay. Yeah, I want to see your answers. Let me see what answers. Yes. Thank you, Johnny. Change the water in flower vases regularly. Okay. So very important. If not, there'll be a lot of mosquito biting you guys. Okay, then your whole body will have mosquito bites. Okay. Add oil on the stagnant water also can. Okay. But I don't think you want to add oil on anywhere. Okay, yes, regularly clean the tiles on the roof so that no water is there for breeding. Yes, that is acceptable as well. Okay, so it's a lot of answers that can be acceptable. So this type of questions, honestly, is my favorite because I can write whatever I want. Okay, not really whatever I want, whatever that makes sense. Okay, so this question, you definitely must score full marks for this. This is a giveaway 4 marks question. Okay, 4 to 5 marks question. If they want, they can give part D. They can change state 1 way to state 2 ways. Okay, then give you another mark. Okay, just easily a 4 to 5 marks question. Okay, very, very, very simple for you guys to grab the marks. So please treasure all these marks. Okay, master the process skill. Okay, to be able to interpret all the data and all the questions. And then for which you will be able to excel in answering questions. Is that okay? Okay, so I understand that I've been talking so much on process skill, right? And then the start we have been talking about water cycle. So I'm pretty sure the P4 and below, right? Okay, the levels before P4 would have feel a bit like left out. But don't worry, you're not left out. Okay, I just want to take this time to introduce to you guys a workshop that we'll be having on the 16th of March, which is your March holidays, okay, for your primary 1 to 4, okay? And then if those primary 5 and 6, if you are interested, you can just sign up as well, okay? So we are having this Explorers Farming Lab where you guys will be able to farm your own salad, you know? You are able to build your own hydroponics farm, okay? As you can see from this hydroponic kit, okay? And then there will be an option to purchase the hydroponic kit itself, but that's optional. Okay, you'll be able to harvest your own vegetables to make your own salad from scratch. And then you learn what are the core concepts, right, of microgreen planting. Okay, it's a lot of fun. Okay, as you can see from the background, right, there are some plants. Okay, these are not random backgrounds we got from the internet. Okay, these are backgrounds, right? This picture is actually taken from our center at Coronation. So we do have two plantations, two vertical farming plantations, right? Okay, that's displayed for parents and students to have a look, okay, during class hours, or if you happen to walk past our branch at Coronation. Okay, so we actually are going to use the plants there to help to build your own hydroponic plants and whatnot. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's going to be very fun and exciting. Okay, topics covered will be your living things, plant system, and photosynthesis. Okay, you'll be able to see how plants work. Okay, close up and in real life. Is that okay? So link is here. $20 promo code for $20 off promo code especially for you. You key in farming lab, okay, you get $20 off. Okay, scan to register here. And yeah, if you forget the link or you forget to scan, you know, you can head to our Telegram group. All the links and informations are there as well. Okay? Yep. For which now, oh, your school got one, but it's different. Yes, all schools have different places have different type of hydroponic plants lah. Okay, so a little bit of extension. Okay, I've actually went to this place, this place called the Hyundai experience. So basically they have robots doing the plantation for them. So I think it's a very cool place for families to go for their family outings and whatnot. Okay, so you guys will be able to see how the robots actually plant the plants, or how they know that the plants are ready to harvest. And yeah, you guys can go and find out more. Okay, yep. So let's take a look at question 3. Wait, Ashley asked, does the process skill class include answering techniques for OEQ? Of course. So answering techniques for OEQ, especially for your process skill, not other chapters though. We are focusing more on process skill. So your child or the students will be, basically your students will be focused on conducting the experiments and collecting the data as well. So to ensure that you know, you will be able to, okay, rather than seeing all these questions, right, and not doing it, okay, versus you doing these kind of experiments before, collecting your own data and then interpreting your own data, and during exams you do the data, okay, interpret the data. There's a very vast amount of differences. Okay, so basically your this whole entire process skill workshop, right, trains your kids or yourself, the students who are watching, right, to interpret the data correctly and efficiently. So you will be able to see the data. One look, you know that, oh, this is as temperature increases, number of days decreases, that kind of thing. Okay, it trains your efficiency and your yeah, basically your effectiveness. Okay, how you go about answering these kind of questions. Okay, yeah. So yes, let's take a look at question 3. Ruth heated 3 different solids, E, F, and G. Okay, hold on, just give me a while. So based on the results, what effect does heat have on solid E, F, and G? Anyone want to try this question based on the process skill that we have talked about? Let's look at the table. Let's take a look at the table. Okay. Hold on. Just give me a while. My screen is frozen. hang on for a while. Okay. Sorry, some technical difficulties. Yes. Meanwhile, while I'm trying to troubleshoot this, right? Can you guys try your best to answer the question that I posed to you guys? How do I, if you take a look at your worksheet, right? How do I know that, what effect does heat have on solid E, F, and G? Anyone to give it a try to answer the question? Sorry, a bit of a technical difficulty. Okay, I'm not able to. Just hang on for a while. Zer, thank you. Hold on, Okay, it has caused the solid to gain heat and expand. Okay, after heating, tiles E, F, and G. Hold on. Just give me a while. I'm trying to troubleshoot. Okay, yes. Okay, here I go. Are you guys able to see my screen again? Are you guys able to see my screen? Can I have a comment to say that you guys are able to see my screen? Yes, okay. So let's take a look. Let's reread the question again. Okay. Roof heated three different solids, E, F, and G, with the same amount of heat and recorded the results as shown in the table. So can you see that the length of the solid before heating is all the same? Yes or no? Okay. And after heating, can you see that the length of the solid actually increases? Yes or no? From 10 to 14 and from 10 to 12 and 10 to 17. So what effect does heat have on E, F, and G? I've seen answers. They tell me that become larger. Okay, don't use the word larger. You have to use scientific terms. Okay, what happens does when heat? What effect does it have on solid E, F, and G? Don't tell me become larger. Okay. What effect does heat have? So you can tell me that heat causes the EF and solid EF and G to expand. Okay, don't tell me become larger. Okay, heat has caused the solid. Sorry, it's caused solid E, F, and G to gain. Sorry, to expand, increasing its length. Yep. Okay, and at this point, right, I want to bring in a very, very special guest, to help to join us in going through this kind of process skill question. Okay, let's welcome Teacher Sayuri. Yes.
Hello, everyone. It's been really long since we got this. Let me test. There's a bit of echo. Right? Let me try. Test. Okay. Yes. Hello. So actually, I'm in like one of our centers right now. So I no background lah, huh? Just the whiteboard. And, okay. So where were we at? So today, yes.
Yeah, I stopped at question 3A, so you can continue. You can take the stage for question 3B. Teacher Sayuri.
Okay, thank you. So, 3A, I assume that you have already wrote down the question already. So over here we have before heating, after heating. So we see that the length actually increased. Now for me personally, right, I always tell my students, right, to actually write down at the side. Like, so this will be +4, this will be +2, and this will be +7, just to have a quick visual on how much the solid actually expanded, E, F, and G. So in this case here, right, it says that Ruth actually stopped heating the solid and left it in the same location for 5 hours. Now, 5 hours is a very, very long time, right? And guess what? They already tell you the result. It says that the length actually returned to 10 cm, which is the length before heating, right? So in this case here, right, this one is the result, and we are trying to give a reason to, well, her explanation. This is a quick typo over here. Mm. So in this case, right, we have to think if you leave it in the same location, right, we have to assume that the location is much cooler, like room temperature, if they never see, for 5 hours. And if it returns, right, what you need to write is this very important keyword. The solids, in general, all three of them, is going to lose heat. Lose heat to where? The surroundings. All right. That's the first half mark. And contracted until it returned to 10 cm. Now, I actually have more to write, but over here it says give a reason. So I'm just going to stop here. Now, if they do say explain why, what do you want to write as well? I chose past tense, right? Let's check. I also have to tell us that after the solid contract, it has to decrease in volume, right? Take up less space, and then yes, we would return to 10 cm. But anyway, this is just give a reason. I just want to see the words lose heat and contract. Okay, all right, let's check the comments. Okay, in here, expect yes, due to surrounding temperature is okay. Now, if you are now currently we are in the new syllabus, right? So, many teachers, I mean, including myself, still teaches surrounding air. But in your textbook in particular, they have dropped the word surrounding air to surroundings. So in that case, we'll follow. But if you wrote surrounding air, no problem. It means the same thing. Okay, great. So now this one over here, can you all put a star? This is actually a standard question. Standard question. Okay, you'll see this like, oh, there are spaces between the tiles, and they are asking you to suggest a reason why there are spaces in between the tiles. So again, right, when we do this TCR answering technique, before you even look at, oh, what is this template, right? I always tell my students to appraise the question. So in this case here, suggest a reason why. This one over here belongs to concept. All right, and over here, there are spaces between the tiles. That here is your end result. Okay, so this is not your flow, this is your end result. In the end, we are going to be putting spaces between the tiles. We're not going to draw it like this. So this one will be no space between the tiles because you just lay the tiles side by side, up front and back. No, up front and center. What you want to do, right, is to actually, have like a layer here. Then you continue laying your tiles. So the concrete, right, actually puts space between like this. Okay. So now, if this is the concept, this is the result, then your clue is actually back here. So you can go back and write that the clue is something about your experiment. Now over here, they didn't ask you which one should they use to make the tiles. That's not the question. But if that is the question, right, students, which one will you choose? E, F, or G to make floor tiles? Can we have some of the comments as your answer? E, F, or G to make floor tiles? Spend need more space? Yes. You choose F? So F F is the one that only increased by 2 cm. That means they expanded the least, isn't it? So if this was the question, I would actually say, oh, I'm going to choose F because from the experiment, gain heat and expanded the least. So that would mean that the tiles would expand the least, gain heat from the sun, the least, expand the least, and therefore the tiles will not crack. Right? So that would be a standard question. However, over here, they're just asking you to give a reason why there must be space. So it's a simpler question. So let's actually already fill it in. Over here, I'll just transfer in. We want spaces between the tiles. Okay? And over here, your clue, you saw that just a standard one, the solids will actually gain heat, will actually expand when gaining heat. Or expand when being heated also can. Alright, so here they're asking you to suggest a reason why. So you want to have, just now we had an answer from Johnny, to have enough space, the space between tiles allows tiles to expand, gain heat. You can choose the surrounding air or from the sun. Without the tiles either cracking or popping. There's some tiles, right, when you push against each other, they'll actually jump up, like a few cm. Then when they land, it will shatter into pieces. So yeah, this one over here is just give a reason, so I will not go into that. Now, when you do your answer, you will have to rearrange your answer. So over here, you want to say, oh, the spaces between the tiles actually helps allows the tile to gain heat from the sun and expand without crackling or popping. So you will actually put this answer in result first, followed by the concept. Okay, right? So yeah. Now this one over here, no need to fill in really. So your topic here is on heat alone, and your tested focus is on expansion. Okay, yes. So now in this entire process skills, right? Like, why do we call it like think like a scientist process skills? Did teacher Jovan actually mention just now?
No,
Teacher
I did
Jovan,
not mention why is it think like a scientist. I only mentioned what is process skills. So I was
I
doing this
see.
question for you.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so it's because right, these are actually all soft skills. You'll notice, right? We actually talk about we actually talk about reading graph. We actually talk about reading table, and this is very very important. Some questions would be like a picture, then you talk about it. Some questions they ask you to recall concepts from the textbook, but there's another type of question. So there are three types. Three types of question in PSLE OEQ. There is the concept recall question, the one that you just plug the words from the textbook, put it back in, you're okay already. Okay, then there's the kind of like explain why question. We call it concept application. So that means you, sorry, I keep hearing my echo, so it's a bit off. Um,
It's okay, it's okay. It's quite clear on my side.
it's kind of,
Hmm.
right, I try to ignore the echo. Okay, so now, so the next one is concept application, which is your explain why questions, the kind that you will want to think about your concept from your textbook, look at the question, think about what they're asking, and try to apply what you know back into the relevant application of the question itself, right? So this is your standard question, right? They will ask you, oh, they'll be like for example, this one I say they see white solids, and they ask you, no, that's a concept recall question. We have any like that? Hmm, today is like more on skill. Yeah, maybe this one. Yeah, suggest why. there's space between the tiles. So you already learn about expansion in your textbook. But then you need to look at these tiles and think about why. Okay, so concept application question. Today, what we were focusing on is process skill, which is the part where you need to understand the experiment in order to do the question. Now, in the new syllabus, especially, actually more and more each year for PSLE, we have been seeing like a rise in a lot more process skill questions than your standard concept recall, concept application. Now, parents, during our time and maybe just the old syllabus, we had a lot of like concept recall questions. It means like we just, oh, just write keywords, and then you should be okay already. But the new trend, like in the past 5 years, the PSLE science, right, has less of the concept recall question. There is still concept application that's a standard, explain why. But they're going to pair it with process skill. Oh, too big. They're going to pair it with process skill. Okay, so if your child doesn't know how to read table, graph, I have students, see graph already, the mind just shuts off. They're like,
Yeah,
teacher, I don't know how to do this question. I said, have you tried? No, I see graph, so I don't know how to do this question. I don't understand the graph. That's very
can I be
dangerous.
honest? Can I be
Become you
honest
are
with you, just
every student must know how to read graph and read the table and then draw an inference to put it back into a question. So very much like, I mean, I only hear about question three, very much like question three. And of course, the rest here we have life cycle and also looks like
motorcycle.
yes.
Motor.
Okay, so uh, why we say all this? Because right, in our to kickstart our PSLE series, those of you who are primary six here, we are actually doing from like March all the way right to like the day before PSLE. We actually have workshops for PSLE students to sharpen their skills. And the very first one is in your March holidays, which is March process skills. Yes. So Teacher
Just very
Jovan, this
let me share the screen again. Yeah.
this is from last year, isn't it? So
Yeah.
the date, do we have the new dates?
Yes, I do.
Teacher Jovan? Yes.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So yes, this I've actually mentioned it just now
Mm-hmm.
to the audiences. So yes, here's our March holidays PSLE science process skill workshop where you will be able to conduct hands-on experiments to see the experiments you see on your paper, right, coming straight into real life, literally. Okay, for you guys to experience this. So sign up link is here. Okay, it's happening on the 16th and 17th of March, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Okay,
Yes.
and then
And
$20 promo code especially for you.
wow, thank you. Yeah, because you are here, you all stuck all the way through with us. Thank you very much. Yeah, today we have a promo code, if I'm not wrong, is March, can't remember, 2026 shop. I think it looks like that.
Yeah, it is
So
this.
yeah, this is right. Okay, yes. So
It
this
is
one,
this.
right, because you are here today, right, please apply this promo code when you sign up, right? You get $20 off the workshop. So it's per workshop. So over here, right, we have like 2 days for science, 2 days for math. But if you were to sign up together, right, there's already a bundle discount of I can't remember. I think $58, something like that. Right. So that bundle discount is like better than this promo code already. But if you only want to sign up for science, because you need more help in reading graphs, drawing your own graph, very important, and also reading the table and seeing how that process skill, right, which is a soft skill, is not in your textbook at all. Nobody's going to say, hi, today we're going to learn how to read graph. Don't have such a thing in your textbook. We're going to teach you so that, right, you can actually have this soft skill, right, to carry to with you to PSLE. Okay, so yeah, we very highly recommend that you join this workshop. Various teachers will be teaching depending on the day and depending on like there's day one, day two, right, and the location. We are actually rotating around, so you will see one and more of us for the workshop, definitely. Okay, yeah, so that's for science. And for math, they are doing UTM, which is quite good actually. It's like we have answering technique for science, they have unit transfer method for math heuristics. So they're going to tackle like the crutch of PSLE math, which is whole numbers, decimal fraction, ratio, and percentage. You must know your numbers very well, manipulate your numbers very well in order to do your math question fast and score for PSLA. Yeah, okay, so we are all teaching strategy this March holiday. So yeah, other than revising your textbook, doing test paper, right? You all should come for this. Okay, yes, so yeah, that's okay, so yeah, really very highly recommend. And it's gonna be fun, my students, because we're gonna do like half of it is gonna be hands-on experiment. And then of course you also must record down the data, because if you do experiment and never record down anything, it didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes. All right. Your math is okay. All right. Then you come for science to do already. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. And thank you,
Yes.
Teacher Jovan. You were here like the whole time. Thank you for having me for the last like 15 minutes. I'm very happy to be here. Our next Facebook Live is actually not next week. We have changed it to like what?
Two
Twice.
weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bi-monthly.
Yeah,
Bi-monthly Facebook Live.
but is it next week, or I think it's the 10th? Yeah, so we will take a break next week, and then on the 10th March we will have another Facebook Live again, and then yeah, we will see what we can teach you. Sometimes it's like concept revision, sometimes it's answering technique, and sometimes we have a bit of fun. We do quizzes, and yeah, and or we go outside and bring science. So, yes, and yeah. So today's session, I hope that you all had a very, very fruitful session with Teacher Jovan. Okay, thank you so much and have a good
And thank
rest.
you, Teacher Sayuri.
Thank you.
So we'll see
Okay.
you guys next time. Okay, bye bye.
All right, on 10 March. Bye bye.
Bye.